Hello everyone, today we will be showing you how to install OpenCart using your Softaculous installer, which is part of cPanel. So the first thing you will want to do is go ahead and log into your cPanel. It should look much like this. And you want to look for the icon for Softaculous. And in most cases, if you're using one of the newer themes from cPanel, it will be in the Software/Services section. So you want to look for that icon right there and go ahead and click on that, and that will open up your Softaculous page. And then first thing on that page, you should see OpenCart right there. If you don't see OpenCart there under the top scripts on the main page, what you'll want to do is look down this menu here on the left side, and you want to go to e-commerce and click that little arrow on the side of e-commerce, and then you'll see under it OpenCart. And you can click there as well. And you'll see once you've clicked on that, you'll have a page much like this where it's going to give you information about OpenCart. And then at the top you should see it has a blue install button there. And so what you'll want to do is go ahead and click that install button, and you should get a page much like this. Now this can look like a lot of information is needed, but it's actually pretty simple. So don't panic too much here. The very first option you'll see is choose protocol, and you just want to leave that as HTTP. You can select other options such as HTTPS for advanced setup if you have like a SSL certificate from, whether it's from your hosting provider or whoever you've purchased that through. You should know if you've got that, and if you do have that, then you can select something else. But otherwise, leave it as the default HTTP there. And then you'll see next is choose domain, and what that's essentially for is if you have a cPanel account, if your hosting provider allows you to have multiple domains in one account, then you can select the different domains via that drop down there. In this case we've just got the one domain, so we'll leave that as it was as well, with just that default. The next one you should see is in directory here, and that is the most confusing one for most people. Essentially what that is saying is it's going to create a folder named OCart. So say you have mydomain.com and you want it installed to mydomain.com/cart, then you'd want to put cart in there. Or if you've just got mydomain.com and you want it to only be mydomain.com, not any slash or anything afterwards, then you'd want to make sure to delete everything in there and just have that blank. In my case, I'll go ahead and put it in the cart folder, so it'll be mydomain.com/cart. Next, below that, you'll see database name. This one you can leave as the default. That's not really a problem. If you do have, for example, under the choose domain, if you do have a lot of sites set up within that hosting account, then it's generally a good idea to go ahead and change this. You just want to set it to a name that's similar to the domain. That way you'll know if you've got several sites which database goes to that domain just based off how they're named. So naming it something similar to the domain, for example, is a good way to do that. Next below that you should see store settings. And the store settings are pretty much personal preference. It's basically the information that's going to display on your page when someone comes to see it. So like your store name, your store description, the store owner's name, and your address that shows up on the actual site once you've got this installed. So it's all really personal preference. You'll want to fill in your own information there to basically set up how you want it displayed on the site itself. And then we'll go down from there, and below that you should see database settings, and it will have a table prefix. The default is fine again, so the OC_ is just fine. You can change that if you're familiar with it. Essentially it's just how it names the tables within the database when it creates it. So you're unlikely to ever really deal with that or have to worry about it, so leaving it default is just fine. Below that you should see the admin account information, and this is where you're going to set information up for your account to log into the site once it's created. So this is the admin username that you can select, and an admin password. You can leave the username as admin. Now I generally recommend changing both just because admin is an easy username to guess, but you definitely want to change the password. You don't want to keep pass as the password. You want to make sure that's a strong password, but at the same time one that you can remember. So you'll want to make sure to write it down if you have to. Below that, you'll see your admin email address. So that's just your email address, and that's just in case you forget the password or that sort of thing, as well as any notifications. So if someone orders from your store, then it sends an email to your email address that you put in there, that sort of thing. And then the first name, last name here, you can essentially put in anything you'd like there. It's personal preference again. Basically what that's going to be for is, a lot of times if you say someone orders, it's going to send an automated email to them when they place the order, and it's going to have this first name, last name, like at the end of the email, that type of thing. That's where these sorts of things, that first name, last name is actually used. So you could leave it as system administrator, you could put store manager, you could really put in anything you'd like. You could use your real name if you wanted to. And then below that you'll have a advanced option. If you click this, basically what this is asking is if you want to receive notifications that updates are available. You definitely do. It's always good to keep your scripts updated, so you want to leave that unchecked so that you do get those notices. And essentially when it emails you, all you have to do is log back in here to Softaculous, click on the OpenCart again, and you'll see a little icon for an update available, and you click that and it'll actually update for you. So you definitely want it to email you about that. Then below that you'll see the install, but we'll skip over that real quick to cover this here. This is email installation details too. So you can put in your email address, and essentially it sends most of this information you've filled in to that email address, so you have a record of what you've done. And so that again, that's more personal preference really. If you want that emailed to you, it's always easy to go back and look at that email if you have to look up information, that sort of thing. If you're familiar with it, then you'll probably just skip over that. So at that point, you've got everything filled out, you've got your username, your password, you're ready to go ahead and click the install button. And once you've clicked that, you should see it's going to show checking submitted data. Essentially this is the install percentage, so it'll continue to go up here. Usually doesn't take too long. It may start out a little slow, but then quickly jump and finish up here for you, and it doesn't take long at all. And you can see that just jumped and finished everything up, and we now have the congratulations, the software is installed successfully. And you'll have a couple of links there, the link to where it installed, so your domain name, and then a link on where to get to the admin URL. So you want to save those links, especially the admin URL, so you can get to that. Obviously the main link, you should generally know that since it's installed to your domain. And that pretty much concludes the setup. You can then go ahead and log into your admin page and start adding products to your new OpenCart install.